If you've ever been about to start something, or you're supposed to start something, whether it's for yourself or for someone you care about, or maybe because your boss wants you to do something, you're just not ready to get it going. You don't feel like starting, you don't want to start. Well, you want to start, but you don't really want to start. You're not doing it. And this is like, well, actually, it's a task avoidance thing. It's an anxiety task avoidance cycle. So it's kind of like a spiral. It's self-feeding. It goes on and on and on until something hits the road and you got to get it done. So stick around, because once I tell you how to spot the pattern, you'll be able to interrupt the pattern and be able to start sooner. Okay, so what exactly is the anxiety avoidance cycle? Or spiral, if you want to call it that. It's a simple answer to that. What it is like the task is, what you got to deal with. And thinking about the task gives you anxiety, makes you a bit nervous, a little edgy maybe. So you avoid the task. Then you feel a bit better because you're avoiding the task. You didn't jump in there yet. But then, the thought comes around again. You still have to do it. So the anxiety levels are going to be even higher this time. So you avoid the task again. You feel a little bit better because you're avoiding the task. You're not facing what you have to do. But then it comes around again, and the anxiety is even higher this time around. So this is a normal brain activity. There's a potential threat. So it's like threat avoidance. Simple enough. What we got to do to break this task is prove that it's not a threat, so your brain can move on. Simple enough. So this is about threat perception, not actually the task. Let me tell you a little story first. Way back before I was even driving, I was a teenager still. I'm out with my brother and two friends of ours, John and Steve. And we're in Rutland, Vermont, and we pull into a Dunkin' Donuts. And inside Dunkin' Donuts is the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen or could have imagined. And I couldn't talk to her. I got the donut order, got a dozen donuts, but I was just in awe of the beauty of this woman. And once we got out to the car, I told John, my buddy, I said, man, I would have loved to ask that girl out. So he said, why didn't you? I said, oh, she's too beautiful. She's too pretty. And his answer was like, well, how bad did you want it? He said, you didn't want it bad enough if you didn't ask her. It's like that hit home, Then he went on to say, she's only one girl. If she says, no, I don't want to go out with you, there's plenty of other girls out there. So don't worry about it. Take your shot. If that's what you want to do, how bad do you want it? So basically, this whole cycle is about the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of doing it wrong, the fear of being overwhelmed, the fear of how overwhelmed you'll feel once you start. The brain treats uncertainty the same way it treats danger, okay? It wants to avoid it. Did I ever go back and ask out that girl? No, I never did. But in other situations, I thought about how bad I wanted it and what John told me. So as the anxiety level in your mind goes up, the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, that activity goes down. Okay, that's your sense of reason, your planning, your prioritizing, your starting task. That starts to shut down because now you're just focused in the back here, the anxiety and relief from anxiety about facing a task and then not facing a task. So this is why you know what to do, you know how to do it, but you physically can't start. And this is especially common for people with ADHD, burnout, or chronic stress. Burnout can be just overwhelmed all the time, at home or at work or social situations. It happens to everybody. So avoiding the task, basically you're turning your back on the task. That feels good. There's a sense of relief there. So the thing is, as soon as you avoid the task, so you turn your back on it, you're not going to face what you have to do, your brain sees relief and says that's a good call. It feels good not to do what makes you feel nervous or anxious. So next time you still have to do the task, so you're going to try even harder to avoid it So eventually you actually have to do it, and it's like, could be panic time. So the panic cycle just tightens over time, because there's a reason you got to do this, and the time is running out. You're going to let people down, you're going to let yourself down, let your boss down, let your partner down. So you got to get it done. And then the anxiety level just keeps rising and rising. We got to fight that. It's easy to fix with practice. So the cycle can feel like it's hard to break the cycle, because there's relief and anxiety, you're just going on and on. So like trying harder, now you're trying to press yourself into getting it done. So it raises your expectations. You got to go. It's like you're on the edge of the diving board and you don't want to be diving into the water for no particular reason other than just fear, anxiety. Or you're about to ask that person out on a date and it just doesn't happen. Well, yes, there's something you got to do for work and you're just really not that into it, but you got to get it done. So you're trying to force yourself to be productive, force yourself to start, and forcing doesn't work very well. So your brain just like, it's like digging in even more. And that's the way your brain operates, to try to keep you more comfortable, safer. We're going to get past that. Stay tuned. So there's several drivers that cause all these things to happen in your head. If you've ever done any cooking, okay, what you do is you assemble all the ingredients, you make sure you got your flour, your butter, your salt, your bowls, your mixing spoons, mixing bowls. You've got to start the oven. You get that all ready to go. So now you're set and you're ready to go. So you took care of all the preliminary stuff. But that's not always possible to do with certain tasks. So if your brain can't clearly see where to start and what done is going to look like, it defaults to avoidance. If the task is too nebulous, it's too foggy, you can't get your brain or your hands or your mind around it, then it's like, what do you do to start? Where are you going to go with this? So clarity reduces anxiety before motivation appears. So you got to try to add a little bit of clarity to the situation. And also the next driver for the whole cycle is the emotional weight. Okay? Tasks are tied to your identity, your career, money, or relationships. So you want to do something of value here, whether it's for your home, for yourself. You want to be proud of your work, you want other people to be proud of you, or whatever it is you want to accomplish. So the thing is, like, you want to do a good job, and there's the burden of the emotion. How are you going to be received as far as this? And the other part is past negative experiences. Has this sort of situation not worked out for you in the past, okay, where you were judged unfairly? Did something go wrong you didn't anticipate, and you don't know if you can anticipate that kind of thing in the future or for this next task? And also there's burnout and shame. How have you been treated in this environment? All these things pile up, and it sounds like the mountain is getting bigger and bigger, but it's not. This is all doable. These are just reasons why these things can happen. So how do you get going? Okay, how do you get started? Think of it as like you're going to go swim for the first time in the year, so what do? You stick your toe or your finger in the water, see how it feels. Then after all, well, that's not so bad. So that's the same as starting pretty much any kind of project. Just get your toe or your finger in the water, and nothing disastrous happens with that. Okay, so whether it's asking a person out, if she says no, she says no. Move on. Okay, you're still fully functional. You're a capable human being, and maybe she just had bad judgment. Okay, it defaults to you being okay. But anyway, aside from that, just a little start. Okay, maybe get a little feedback from someone else familiar with the task or whatever. Just a simple step to get you going. Okay, also separate the action from the outcome. The first step is not the last step. Okay, whatever you do initially is not the way it's going to end. Okay, if you're getting your paintbrush out, you're getting your can and stir things up, that's not the end product yet. So it's up to you. So every step as you get there moves along. It's simple enough to go. And also, you're always going to have a little bit of anxiety with the task because you want it to be good. So a little bit, you don't want to get too comfortable, too overconfident, but you want it to go with the flow. But once you start working, if you start to actually verbalize, even mentally, talk through the task inside your head, you'll be amazed at the progress you can start making. So you probably already had an idea of what was going on in your head, that avoiding the task, felt good, but the levels just keep building have anxiety, for task avoidance, but you got to do it and keep going. And eventually something happens and you do it. But there's a lot of suffering in between that you can avoid, okay, to get things done. Way back, when you had to do a book report in school, the teacher gave you 30 days for the whole marking period, and you wait the last couple of days and there's the pressure. Then there's always the people that say, oh yeah, I did it yesterday. I did it right after she said that. And you're like, those people. But you're you and they are them, okay? It's okay to be you. You're the only one that can be the best you. So don't blame yourself for this behavior. Just understand the cycle and how to basically break the cycle, okay? Any kind of start on the task is a good way to go. Any start, the first step, small start, baby steps, toe in the water, finger in the water, it doesn't matter. Just start to make it happen. So if any of this was a little too close to home for you, you're not alone. This is so normal. It's so everybody, okay? Feel free to drop a comment down below what task you try to avoid right now and what emotion is underneath it. Because there's always emotion tied to these things, okay? So if you want more videos about anxiety, task avoidance, ADHD, burnout, drop a comment down below. Subscribe to this video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Ring the notification bell so be aware of more things popping up, all right? Have a good day. You can get this done.